Welcome, my dear friend. I am grateful that you are here with me in this quiet moment. Wherever you are right now, whatever kind of day or night you have had, know that you have arrived at a safe and gentle place. This is a space of calm, a space of slowing down, a space where nothing is demanded of you. You do not need to achieve anything, fix anything, or become anything else. Simply being here is enough. As I speak, I invite you to allow your body to rest. If you are sitting, let your shoulders soften. If you are lying down, let your body sink naturally into the bed, the mat, or the floor beneath you. Feel the support holding you without effort. You don't need to hold yourself up anymore. Tonight, you are allowed to be carried by stillness. I want to gently ask you something before we go deeper together. If this space feels comforting to you, if these moments of calm matter to you, please consider staying with me until the very end. Let this be a complete journey from waking awareness to peaceful sleep. And if you feel called to do so, you may also choose to subscribe to this channel so that we can meet again in future nights of quiet reflection. There is no pressure, only an invitation. Now, bring your attention inward. Not forcefully, not sharply, but as softly as you would place a blanket over someone you care about. I am doing the same. I am here with you, breathing slowly, allowing the noise of the day to fade into the background. Thoughts may still appear, sounds may still come and go, and that is perfectly fine. Nothing needs to be pushed away. I notice my own breath as I speak, and I invite you to notice yours. Not to control it, not to change it, but simply to feel it. The gentle rise of the chest, the quiet fall of the body as the breath leaves. Each breath is like a small wave arriving at the shore and returning to the sea. There is no rush. The ocean has all the time it needs as the breath flows naturally. I begin to sense the places in my body that are holding tension. Perhaps you can sense them too. The jaw that has been clenched all day. The forehead that has been carrying worry. The hands that have been gripping responsibilities. With each slow breath out, I imagine these places loosening just a little. You don't have to let go all at once. Even a small release is enough. I remind myself gently that this moment is complete as it is. The past has already passed. The future has not yet arrived. Right now, there is only this breath, this quiet voice, and this shared stillness. In Buddhist teachings, there is a simple truth that I return to again and again. Peace is not something we create. It is something we uncover when we stop struggling, as I settle deeper into this understanding. Not an awakening of excitement or effort, but an awakening of ease. It is the awareness that I do not need to chase my thoughts or follow them wherever they go. I can watch them drift by like clouds in a wide open sky. And you can too. If a thought arises, notice it kindly. If an emotion surfaces, greet it gently. There is no right or wrong experience here. Everything is allowed to come and go in its own time. The mind, when treated with patience, naturally begins to slow down. I am here to walk this path with you tonight, step by quiet step. Together, we will move toward deeper calm, gentle stories, and teachings that do not demand understanding, only listening. For now, simply rest in this beginning. Let the day loosen its grip. Let the night hold you softly. You are safe. You are welcome. And this journey has just begun. I begin by turning my attention fully to the breath, not as a technique, but as a companion. The breath has been with me since the moment I arrived in this world, and it has never once asked me to do anything in return. It comes and goes on its own, faithful and quiet. As I notice it now, I allow myself to trust it completely. You can do the same. There's nothing you need to fix about your breathing. It already knows how to breathe as the air enters the body. I feel a gentle coolness, a soft invitation. As it leaves, there is warmth, a sense of release. I do not try to make the breath deeper or slower. I simply let it be as it is. In this simple noticing, something subtle begins to happen. The mind, which was moving quickly just moments ago, starts to soften. It has nothing urgent to chase right now. I remind myself that this breath only exists in the present moment. It cannot be taken in the past, and it cannot be taken in the future. Each breath anchors me here, in this exact instant. When my attention rests on the breath, even lightly, I find myself arriving fully, not in my memories, not in my plans, but right here where life is actually happening. Sometimes I notice thoughts trying to pull me away. A memory appears. A question forms. A small worry taps on the door of the mind. When this happens, I do not argue with it. I do not label it as a problem. I simply notice that the attention has wandered, and with kindness, I guide it back to the breath, again and again. There is no failure in wandering. The return is the practice. As I breathe in, I feel the body receiving. As I breathe out, I feel the body letting go. With every exhale, I imagine placing down a small burden I've been carrying. A responsibility, an expectation, a story about who I should be. I don't need to drop everything at once. One breath is enough. One small release is enough. I begin to sense the breath moving, not just in the chest, but through the whole body. The shoulders soften as the air flows out. The belly gently rises and falls. Even the legs and feet seem to respond, relaxing into their own weight. I realize that the body knows how to rest when the mind stops interfering in the Buddhist way. The present moment is not something distant or mysterious. It is intimate. It is as close, as simple as this awareness. I tell myself quietly, there is nowhere else I need to be. Nothing else I need to understand right now. This moment is complete. As the breath continues its natural rhythm, I notice the space between breaths. A brief pause, a moment of stillness. It is subtle, almost easy to miss. But when I notice it, I feel a deep sense of peace. In that small pause, there is no effort, no thought, no movement, just being. I don't try to hold onto it. I let it come and go, just like the breath itself. If the mind feels restless, I offer it patience. Restlessness is not a mistake. It is simply energy looking for direction. I gently direct it back to the feeling of breathing, the touch of air at the nose, the quiet movement of the chest, the softness of the exhale. Over time, the mind begins to follow the body into calm. I remind myself that awareness does not need to be sharp or intense. It can be wide and gentle, like a candle lighting a room without effort. I do not stare at the breath. I rest with it. I allow it to come to me rather than chasing after it. With each passing moment, the sense of time begins to change. Minutes no longer feel important. The need to measure or count fades away. There is only a continuous flow of breathing, like a river moving steadily through the landscape. I am not separate from it. I am part of the movement. I notice how safe this feels. To be here, to not be pulled in all directions, to not be judged by my own thoughts. In this present moment, I am not lacking anything. The breath is enough. Awareness is enough. If sleep begins to approach, I do not resist it. Sleep is not the opposite of awareness. It is a natural continuation of rest. I allow the breath to guide me gently toward it, without forcing, without expectation. Whether the first remain awake or drift into sleep does not matter. What matters is the kindness I offer myself in this moment. As I stay with the breath, I sense a quiet awakening of the mind. Not a loud realization, not a dramatic insight, but a simple knowing. I know that peace is available right now. I know that I can return to this moment whenever I choose. With a single breath, I continue breathing gently, naturally, allowing each moment to unfold on its own. There is nothing else I need to do. Nowhere else I need to go. This breath, this moment, this quiet presence is enough. I remember a time when I believed awakening was something distant, something reserved for monks in mountain temples or sages who had spent lifetimes in meditation. Back then, my mind was always busy, always chasing meaning, always trying to arrive somewhere better than where I was. One evening, when the weight of my thoughts felt heavier than usual, I decided to walk without direction. I did not seek answers. I only wanted quiet. The path I followed was narrow and uneven, lit by the soft glow of a fading sky. Each step felt slow, deliberate, as if the earth itself was asking me to pay attention. At first, my mind resisted the silence. It replayed old conversations, imagined future outcomes, and questioned why I was even walking at all. But as my feet continued to move, something began to change. The thoughts did not disappear, but they grew less convincing, like distant echoes losing their strength as I walked. I came across an old wooden gate, partially broken and leaning to one side. Beyond it was a small garden I had never noticed before, though I had passed this path many times. Inside, there was nothing remarkable. No grand statues, no elaborate designs. Just a few stones, a tree, and a simple bench worn smooth by time. I sat down without thinking, as if my body had chosen for me. The air felt different there. Still, patient, I became aware of the sounds. Around me, the faint rustle of leaves, the distant call of a night bird, the quiet rhythm of my own breathing. For the first time in a long while, I was not trying to interpret or understand what I was experiencing. I was simply there. As I sat, I noticed a single leaf drifting slowly to the ground. It did not hurry. It did not hesitate. It let go of the branch when the time came and trusted the fall. Watching it, I felt something loosen inside me. I realized how much of my life had been spent holding on to ideas of who I should be, holding on to regrets, holding on to fears disguised as plans. In that moment, a simple thought arose, not as words, but as a feeling. What if nothing is missing right now? The question did not demand an answer. It settled gently, like the leaf on the earth. My mind, so used to grasping, found nothing to hold, and in that emptiness, there was no discomfort. There was relief. I began to see how awakening was not an event, not a sudden flash of understanding. It was the quiet recognition of what had always been here. The breath moving in and out, the body sitting without effort, awareness noticing itself without judgment. I had been searching for something extraordinary, while overlooking the ordinary miracle of being present. Time seemed to soften. I could not tell how long I sat there. Minutes and hours lost their meaning. Each moment felt complete on its own, needing no continuation. Thoughts still appeared, but they no longer pulled me away. They were like ripples on the surface of a deep lake, unable to disturb the stillness below. At some point, I became aware of a subtle joy. Not excitement, not pleasure, but a calm contentment. It was not dependent on anything external. Nothing had changed in my life circumstances. No problems had been solved. And yet, there was peace. I understood then that peace does not arrive when life becomes perfect. It arrives when the mind stops arguing with what is. I recalled a teaching I had once heard, but never truly understood. The awakened mind is not a special mind. It is an unburdened one. Sitting there, I felt what that meant. For a brief while, I was not carrying my identity, my past, or my expectations into the present moment. I was just awareness, open and unguarded. When I eventually stood up to leave, the garden looked the same. The path ahead was still uncertain. My life, waiting beyond that gate, would continue with its challenges and responsibilities. But something within me had shifted. I was no longer searching for awakening as something to acquire. I had tasted it as something to remember as I walked back. I noticed the sensation of my feet touching the ground, the movement of my body through space. Each step felt intimate, alive. I realized that awakening was not confined to silence or stillness. It moved with me. It was present in walking, breathing, listening. It did not belong to any special place. Later that night, as I laid down to rest, the memory of that quiet garden returned. Not as a story, but as a feeling. I understood that the mind awakens not by adding knowledge, but by releasing the need to constantly seek. When the seeking pauses, even briefly, clarity reveals itself naturally. I share this story not as a lesson to be learned, but as an experience to be felt. Awakening does not require effort. It requires sincerity. A willingness to stop, to listen, to rest in what is already here. Just like that leaf when the time comes. The mind knows how to let go. As you listen now, perhaps something similar is happening within you. Perhaps not. Either way is perfectly fine. Awakening is not something to force. It unfolds quietly, often when we least expect it. Sometimes all it takes is a moment of stillness, a gentle breath, and the courage to stop searching. I allow this understanding to settle softly, like night settling over the land. There is nothing more to add, nothing more to explain. The mind, when left undisturbed, naturally returns to its own clarity. And in that clarity, rest becomes effortless, and sleep arrives like an old, trusted friend as I continue resting in this quiet awareness. My thoughts naturally turn toward something I have struggled with for most of my life, often without realizing it. Attachment. It is a word I once misunderstood. I believed attachment meant loving too much, caring too deeply, or holding people close. But as I sit with my breath and listen inwardly, I begin to see attachment more clearly. It is not love itself that binds us, but the fear hidden beneath it, the fear of losing, the fear of change, the fear of not being enough without what we cling to. I notice how the mind reaches outward even now. It reaches for comfort, for certainty, for familiar thoughts. It wants to hold onto pleasant feelings and push away unpleasant ones. This movement feels automatic, almost invisible. Yet, when I look closely, I see how much tension it creates. Holding on requires effort. Resisting requires effort, and slowly, quietly, this effort becomes suffering in the Buddhist teachings. Suffering does not arise because life is difficult. It arises because the mind argues with how life unfolds. I reflect on this gently, not as an idea to analyze, but as a truth to feel. When I want something to stay exactly as it is, I tighten. When I want something to disappear immediately, I tighten again. Between these two movements, grasping and resisting, the mind forgets how to rest. I turn inward and ask myself softly, what am I holding right now? Not just in my hands, but in my heart and mind. Perhaps it is an image of how tomorrow should be. Perhaps it is a memory that refuses to loosen its grip. Perhaps it is a role, an identity, a belief about who I must be in order to feel safe. I do not judge what I find. I simply notice. As I breathe out, I experiment with loosening my grip just a little. I am not throwing anything away. I am not forcing release. I am simply opening my hand just enough to feel some space. And in that space, there is relief. Not because the attachment is gone, but because I am no longer squeezing it so tightly. I begin to understand liberation not as escaping life, but as changing my relationship with it. Freedom does not mean having nothing. It means not being owned by what I have. I can care deeply, love fully, and still allow things to change. This balance feels delicate, like holding water in my palms without clenching my fists. I remember a simple teaching that once confused me. All things are impermanent. At first, it sounded cold, even discouraging. But now, resting here, it feels gentle and honest. Everything changes. This breath changes. This moment changes. Even this body, this mind, this voice will change. When I stop fighting this truth, something softens inside me. I no longer need to demand permanence from what was never meant to stay. Attachment often disguises itself as control. I notice how the mind tries to control outcomes, emotions, even sleep itself. It says, I must relax now. I must fall asleep now. And in doing so, it creates the very tension it wants to escape. Liberation begins when I allow things to unfold naturally. Without force, I tell myself quietly, it is okay to let this moment be exactly as it is. If calm is here, I welcome it. If restlessness is here, I welcome that too. Neither defines me. Neither needs to be fixed. They are passing visitors, not permanent residents. As this understanding deepens, I feel a shift from the head to the heart. It is no longer about knowing the teaching. It is about living it, moment by moment. When I stop demanding that reality meet my expectations, reality stops feeling like an enemy. It becomes a teacher. I notice how freedom feels in the body. The shoulders drop slightly. The jaw unclenches. The breath flows more easily. Liberation is not abstract. It is physical. It is the body's response to the mind no longer pulling in opposite directions. There is a quiet joy in this letting go. Not excitement, not pleasure, but ease. The ease of not carrying unnecessary weight. I realize how many things I have been holding out of habit, not necessity. Old stories, old fears, old hopes that no longer serve me. I do not need to push them away. When the grip loosens, they fall on their own. In this gentle space, compassion arises naturally. When I see my own attachments clearly, I become softer toward the attachments of others. I understand that everyone is holding something, trying to protect themselves from pain. This understanding brings warmth instead of judgment. Liberation, I see now, is not a distant goal. It happens in small moments of awareness. Each time I notice attachment without feeding it, a little freedom appears. Each time I allow change without resistance, peace deepens. These moments may be brief, but they are real. As I rest here, I allow myself to practice this freedom in the simplest way possible. I let this breath come and go. I let this moment pass without chasing the next one. I let sleep approach in its own time without pulling it closer. There is nothing I need to hold in order to be safe right now. The body knows how to rest. The breath knows how to flow. Awareness knows how to be present. When I trust this, even for a moment, I taste liberation. I stay with this feeling gently without trying to preserve it. Freedom does not need to be held. Like everything else, it comes when conditions are right and leaves when it must. My only task is to remain open, and as the mind continues to soften, I sense that release is not an action, but a permission. Permission to stop clinging. Permission to stop resisting. Permission to rest in the natural flow of things. In this permission, suffering loosens its grip, and peace reveals itself quietly, like the night settling into silence. As the mind grows quieter, I allow an image to form gently, without effort. I imagine myself standing at the edge of a vast mountain valley just before dawn. The air is cool and still, carrying a sense of timelessness. There is no rush here, no destination. I am simply present, breathing softly, aware of the space around me and within me. In this place, sound feels distant and unimportant. Even my thoughts seem to move more slowly, as if they respect the silence of the land. I notice a narrow path leading downward into the valley. I begin to walk, not with intention, but with trust. Each step feels light, as though the ground itself is guiding me. As I walk, I realize I am carrying something heavy on my back, a bundle wrapped tightly in cloth. I do not remember when I picked it up, only that it has been with me for a long time. At first, I feel tempted to ignore it, to keep walking as I always have. But the stillness around me invites honesty. I pause and gently lower the bundle to the ground. I sit beside it and slowly begin to untie the knots. Inside, I find many familiar things. Old worries I thought I had resolved. Expectations placed on me by others and by myself. Regrets shaped like questions that never found answers. Each item feels personal, meaningful, and yet heavy. I realize how long I have been carrying them without questioning whether I still need to. I do not judge myself for holding on. It makes sense. At some point, each of these things felt necessary. They protected me. They gave me direction. But as I sit there now, surrounded by quiet, I can feel that their time has passed. One by one, I place them gently on the earth. I do not throw them away. I do not reject them. I simply set them down. And with each release, I feel a subtle shift inside my body. My breath deepens. My shoulders soften. The space around my heart grows wider. When the bundle is empty, I notice how light my body feels. Not weak, but free. I stand up and take a step forward, surprised by the ease of movement. Walking no longer feels like effort. It feels natural, almost effortless. As I continue down the path, I come to a wide, slow-moving river. The water is clear, reflecting the pale light of the early sky. I kneel beside it and place my hands into the stream. The water flows around my fingers without resistance. It does not cling. It does not hesitate. It simply moves on. Watching the river, an insight arises quietly within me. Letting go is not something I do with force. It is something I allow. Just as the river does not try to push the water forward, I do not need to push my thoughts, emotions, or experiences away. When I stop gripping them, they move on by themselves. I notice a leaf floating on the surface of the river. It spins gently, caught briefly in a small swirl before continuing downstream. For a moment, it pauses, then releases and moves on. I feel a deep recognition in my chest. This is how thoughts work. This is how feelings work. They come, they linger, and when not held, they leave. I remain by the river, not thinking, not analyzing, just watching, just breathing. The silence feels alive, full, supportive. In this silence, understanding does not arrive as words. It arrives as a sense of ease, a quiet certainty that nothing is wrong. After some time, I stand and continue walking. The path now feels wider, smoother. The valley opens up, revealing open fields and distant trees, swaying gently in the breeze. I feel connected to everything around me, not as a concept, but as a lived experience. There is no boundary between my breath and the air, between my steps and the earth. I realize that letting go does not mean losing myself. It means meeting myself without the weight of unnecessary burdens. It means trusting that I am enough, even without all the things I thought defined me. As the image slowly fades, I remain aware of my body resting here, wherever I am listening from. The sense of openness stays. The silence stays. I do not try to hold on to it. I allow it to be exactly as it is. If thoughts return, I greet them gently. If images dissolve, I let them go. There is nothing to chase, nothing to complete. The practice is not in maintaining silence, but in allowing silence to come and go naturally. I rest in this understanding, feeling it settle deeper with each breath. Letting go is not a single moment. It is a gentle, ongoing process, a willingness to soften again and again. As sleep begins to approach, I do not resist it. I allow myself to drift, trusting that even in sleep, this quiet wisdom remains. The mind knows how to rest when it is no longer holding on. And in this soft release, I find myself carried effortlessly, like the leaf on the river, moving toward deeper rest, deeper peace, without effort, without fear, without needing to know what comes next. I allow the words to become fewer now, softer, as if they, too, are beginning to rest. What remains is guidance without instruction, presence without demand. I imagine myself sitting in a place where nothing needs to be explained. Perhaps it is a quiet temple at night, or perhaps it is simply an open space within the mind. The exact image does not matter. What matters is the feeling of being held by silence. I notice how silence is not empty. It is full of subtle movements, gentle signals, quiet understanding. When I stop filling the space with effort, something wiser begins to speak, not in words, but in sensations. A sense of rightness, a feeling of ease, a knowing that does not require proof. As I rest here, I sense the body breathing on its own. I am no longer doing the breathing. It is happening naturally, rhythmically, like waves touching the shore. Each inhale arrives without invitation. Each exhale leaves without permission. Watching this, I feel trust growing. Life knows how to move forward without my constant guidance. In this silence, I imagine a soft light surrounding me. Not a bright or dramatic light, but a dim, steady glow, like moonlight filtering through clouds. It does not shine on anything in particular. It simply exists. I allow myself to sit within it, feeling its calm presence touching the edges of my awareness. Thoughts may still appear, but they feel distant now, like voices heard from far away. I do not need to follow them. I do not need to answer them. I let them pass through the space of awareness, leaving no trace behind. The mind is learning how to be still by being allowed to be still. I become aware of a quiet guidance rising from within. It does not tell me what to do next in life. It does not offer solutions or plans. Instead, it reassures me that I am already on the path, that nothing essential is missing. That rest is not something I earn, but something I return to. I sense this guidance as a gentle warmth in the chest, a soft loosening in the belly, a subtle release in the forehead. It feels like being silently reminded of something I once knew but forgot, that I am part of a larger flow, that I do not have to push myself forward. In this space, time feels different. The future does not pull at me. The past does not call me back. There is only a continuous now, unfolding naturally. I rest my attention lightly here, without effort, without expectation. I imagine myself lying beneath a wide night sky. Stars scattered quietly, unmoving, unconcerned with my thoughts or worries. They shine without intention, without struggle. Watching them, I understand that I too can exist without trying so hard. I do not need to prove my worth. I do not need to reach any conclusion tonight. The guidance deepens as silence deepens. It is not telling me to change. It is inviting me to stop changing, to stop adjusting, to stop managing this moment. When I listen closely, I hear nothing, and yet I understand everything I need to know right now. If there is any tension left in the body, I let it soften on its own. I do not command it to relax. I simply stop holding it. When the holding ends, relaxation arrives naturally. This is the quiet teaching of silence. Effort creates tension. Permission creates peace. I feel myself drifting slightly, not fully asleep, not fully awake. This in-between space feels safe, familiar, like a doorway I have passed through many times before. In this space, the mind is open but unoccupied. Awareness remains, but it is light, unburdened. The silent guidance continues without words. It says, "You can trust this. You can rest here. Nothing bad will happen if you let go for a while." These are not sentences I hear, but truths I feel settling gently into the nervous system. I imagine my thoughts as snowflakes falling into a deep lake. Each one disappears the moment it touches the surface. The lake does not resist. It does not react. It simply receives and remains unchanged. I allow my mind to become like that lake, open, deep, still dot. As this stillness grows, I notice how naturally sleep begins to approach. It does not rush in. It drifts closer, like a familiar presence waiting patiently nearby. I do not turn toward it or away from it. I allow it to arrive when it is ready. I remind myself silently that even in sleep, awareness is not lost. It simply changes form. Rest continues. Healing continues. The body and mind know how to take care of themselves. I stay with this silent guidance, letting it lead me without direction. No effort is required now. No understanding is required now. Just rest, and as the silence wraps itself more fully around awareness, I allow myself to sink into it, trusting that this quiet knowing will remain, gently supporting me, long after the words have faded away. As the night deepens, I find myself remembering a lesson that did not come from words, but from an experience so quiet that it almost went unnoticed. It happened during a time when my mind was crowded with thoughts, even as my body longed for rest. I believed sleep would come only after every thought was resolved, every worry understood. Yet that night taught me something entirely different. I was lying still, eyes closed, listening to the faint sounds of the world settling down. Somewhere far away, a dog barked once and then fell silent. A breeze moved gently past the window. Inside me, however, the mind was restless, jumping from one image to another. I watched this movement without judgment, too tired to interfere, too aware to escape. At some point, an image appeared in my awareness. I imagined myself entering a simple room with no furniture, no decoration, no windows. At first, the emptiness felt uncomfortable. The mind searched for something to hold on to, something to define the space. But there was nothing, just openness. As I stood in this empty room, I noticed how quiet it was. Not a forced silence, but a natural one. The kind of silence that exists when nothing is being added. I realized that the mind behaves the same way. When I stop adding thoughts, memories, and expectations, it naturally becomes still. I did not try to clear my mind. I did not push thoughts away. Instead, I stopped feeding them. Each thought that appeared was allowed to pass without attention, like a guest who leaves when no one engages them. Slowly, the space between thoughts grew wider. In that widening space, I felt an unfamiliar peace. Not excitement, not relief, just a deep sense of okayness. Nothing needed to happen. Nothing needed to be solved. The empty room within my mind felt safe, welcoming, complete. I understood then that an empty mind is not a dull mind. It is an open one. It is aware without being busy, alive without being tense. In that openness, the body begins to relax in ways effort could never achieve. As I rested in this inner emptiness, sleep began to approach naturally. There was no clear moment when I fell asleep. Awareness simply softened, like a flame lowering itself without going out. The mind did not disappear. It rested. This story returns to me often now, especially on nights when sleep feels distant. I remember that peace does not come from controlling the mind, but from allowing it to empty itself naturally. Just as the sky does not need to remove clouds, the mind does not need to remove thoughts. When the conditions are right, they drift away on their own. As you listen now, perhaps your own mind is learning this lesson quietly. Perhaps thoughts are still there. Perhaps they are fading. Either way is fine. Peaceful sleep does not require a perfect state of mind. It only requires permission to stop trying. I allow that permission to exist now. I let the mind be as it is, empty or full, quiet or active. And in that allowance, rest deepens gently, naturally, without effort now. As your body and mind settle into this gentle rhythm, I invite you to simply rest. There's nothing more to do tonight, nothing more to fix, nothing more to understand. The breath flows quietly, the body rests naturally, and your awareness can soften completely. You are safe. You are held. You are exactly where you need to be. I offer a gentle blessing for your sleep. May your mind release all tension. May your heart rest without worry. And may your body sink deeply into comfort. Let go of the day. Let go of all thoughts that no longer serve you. And allow yourself to drift effortlessly toward peaceful sleep. Each breath carries you a little deeper into calm. Each exhale loosens what no longer belongs. Know that in this moment, you are enough. You do not need to achieve anything in the night. There is nothing to prove, nothing to change. The quietness you feel now is a gift, a reminder that peace is always available when you stop resisting. Let the stillness wrap around you like a soft blanket, warm and protective. As you rest, imagine yourself floating gently in a quiet space, safe and free, without weight or worry. If any thoughts come, allow them to pass like clouds drifting across a wide sky. You do not need to hold them. You do not need to follow them. Simply return to the gentle rhythm of your breath and the quiet presence of your awareness before we part. I softly remind you, if this space has brought you comfort and peace, you are always welcome to return. The stillness, the guidance, and the gentle stories will be here again whenever you need them. And if you feel moved, consider subscribing to this channel so we can meet again for more nights of calm and reflection. Now, rest fully. Allow your body to sink, your mind to soften, and your heart to be still. Sleep comes easily, naturally, and peacefully. You are safe. You are calm. You are at peace. And as the night carries you forward, may gentle dreams and quiet blessings fill your rest, bringing renewal for tomorrow.